She wanted to come back to Sweden. Then this terrible phone call. Annie had been found dead.
This is the spot right here where Annie's body was discovered on a winter's morning. Now, I was only 13 when Annie died, but the story of her death has always stayed with me. We all know that when terrible things happen to women, sometimes their stories just aren't taken seriously by the people that are supposed to be looking after them. And even though Annie died 18 years ago, it feels like a story we could have heard yesterday. And many people, her friends and family included, believe that Annie was actually murdered. The question is, though, could they be right? I want to find out what really happened to Annie.
We reviewed hours and hours of CCTV at Prestwick Airport and eventually got her on the walkway over into the airport, and she was alone. We lose her out of camera, then she appears back, goes out one of the doors for a matter of minutes, and then comes back in, comes back across the walkway, still alone. And then she goes out airport. She's seen heading down towards the beach area.
When the body is found at 8:30 and it's in the mortuary by 10:10, which is 20 minutes away, it seems unlikely that everything that needed to be done was done forensically.
It's suggesting that the decision as to what has happened to her has already been made. There is not concern that a third party could have been involved in this death. A young woman found dead outdoors is always a matter of concern.
It wasn't that it was just assumed it was suicide and nothing was done. There was hours and hours of police work done. There was nothing to indicate that I was dealing with a potential murder. We didn't find anything because there was nothing to find.
I still can't definitively say if Annie was murdered or that sadly she did take her own life. But what I'm certain of is there are a whole load of questions about this case which I still find completely inexplicable. Let me show you what I mean.
But I'm intrigued to actually see how deep it actually is. Wow.
When I got an oceanographer to look at the bay, it turns out you'd have to walk out nearly half a mile to get to a depth where you couldn't touch the bottom. And Annie was living in Edinburgh. Edinburgh's on the coast. There were loads of beaches near her flat. Why would she travel the whole way across the country to find an incredibly shallow bay to take her own life? And there's one other strange thing. Tests on Annie's body tissue found microscopic creatures called diatoms. But the species found in Annie's body seemed to have come from a freshwater environment. But Annie was discovered on a coastal beach, so surely the diatoms in her body should have come from salt water.
It does make you question what happened before that body was found at the beach.
My heart is crying. Guy and the family had to bury Annie without knowing what happened.
It's very hard to go on with your life. How can I rest my head before I know what happened? I have to go on until I find the answers.